Hey there, welcome. I'm Claudia. I'm so glad that you are here. And today we're going to do the headstand. Headstands are so much fun. I love them because there are so many variations of them that the learning never ends. Today we're going to focus on the one that's the most common, the most popular, the most traditional, and also the most effective, I find, once you learn it, because it becomes comfortable once you find your sweet spot in it. The very nice thing about the inversions is that they have an anti-aging property, because when we're inverting, gravity is working in favor of the internal organs. They're pulled downwards, which in our case is upwards, and they can return the position in which they were when we were younger. The headstand is also a very meditative pose, one that we tend to do at the end of a class to come back to center and to enter that blissful place that yogis seem to go into. And now, if you haven't yet, get into something very comfy, put your mat next to a wall, and here we go. As a first step, you want to have a wall behind you so that you don't fall. But also it's good to remember that the wall is very tamasic, meaning it sucks energy and is very lethargic. So you do want to step away from the wall and do it in the middle of the room as soon as you can, but not rushing, because again, we don't want to fall. So the first thing we're going to do is the position of the hands. Think of a triangle, right? The elbows are shoulder distance apart, and the hands are interlacing the fingers, and they're going to go over the head, in between the line of the hair and the top of the head, so around there. And the place that will go onto the mat is somewhere in between. Now this is different for every person, so I tend to go, I would say, a little behind the top of the head and try to find there a sweet spot. What you don't want is for the neck to do that or the neck to do that. You want the neck supported, otherwise you could hurt yourself. The elbows are shoulder distance apart, and then we're going to place the head and the shoulders on the mat and start feeling it. So make sure you stay here a couple of times doing this. Stay here and experiment with it. And then for this first step too, once you find your bearings here, curl your toes and push your knees up so that you come into a downward dog shape, and see how you feel here. This is the first step. You can walk the feet a little and then walk them back. Always breathing. Feet forward, feet back. And when this becomes slightly more comfortable, start feeling the balance. See if you can send your butt up as if you wanted to balance the spine. And then always, of course, after you practice, come back down onto a baby position so that you can rest. Excellent. After a couple of weeks of practicing that, you will notice that you will find your balance. And so now it's time to move the legs up. There's two schools of doing this. Some people lift the legs from the floor together. That didn't work for me because it was just too hard. So I'll teach you the other way, where we learn that on the way down, which is easier. So we're going to assume the position that we had and come into this down dog shape. We've been walking the feet and finding balance for a few days or weeks, depending on how you're practicing. And now what we're going to do is throw the right leg towards the floor. Don't do it too hard. Try to see if you can just do that without knocking the wall down. Like doing it easy, that's it. Just that, and come up and come down. After you try it with the right leg, try with the left leg, pushing up and down. You may find that one leg is harder than the other. That's okay. In here we're beginning to engage the abdominal muscles, which will come very handy later. We're going to need them. So do that
4 days or weeks, and then always return to child pose and rest.
Great. So now for the third step, we're going to get into the mat and bring both legs up. So find your posture
And your sweet spot for the head, elbows shoulder distance apart. Come on to the top of your feet. And from here, we can either push the left or the right, whichever is comfortable for you. And you can come to the halfway if you want to, if you can, or straighten the legs. The first time you get here, you're going to find that you need to adjust the head. It can be scary, so make sure to breathe and take it easy. Always come down and take child pose if you need to. When we're here with the wall, we're going to start taking one leg out just to see how that feels, and then bring it back. And then the other leg out and bring it back. When you do that, then you can bring one of the legs and bring the hips forward as well, so that you can start getting the sense of what it's like to stay there, what it's like to find center when you're inverted, and play with gravity. I'm going to do the same thing with the right leg now. Bring it a little forward as if I was trying to do it away from the wall, and play with the one that's touching the wall, so I can start finding my center of gravity here.
Okay, so now on the fourth step, we're going to come away from the wall, but don't do it in the center of the room yet. Keep the wall for now, even if you feel that you can do it, because we're going to try something to strengthen the abdominals and to give you more sense of agency when you're in the middle of the room. So we're going to go with what we have been doing,
finding the spot, placing the head, coming into a modified down dog, walking the legs, pushing up and straightening the legs. And this time we're going to try to stay here, try to find the balance and point the feet. Once you can do this, if you have been practicing slowly, the key is to start breathing through the nose, always inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Great. So if you can balance here, the next step is going to be to start lowering the legs. The reason why I have you still at the wall is because the back can do funny things here, and if it goes back, you want to have the wall as leverage right there. This will tone your abdominals and give you more of a sense of balance. So what we're going to do in this fourth step, before we go to the center of the room, we're going to lower the legs slowly. You'll feel the shoulders engaging, the shoulder blades, the shoulder girdle, and make sure that your quadriceps are engaged, and then bring the legs down and bring the legs up. This is what I mean by learning it in reverse, how to come down and up from the floor with the legs straight. You have much more of an opportunity to do that if you're practicing this way. At the end, slowly come down and always, always rest.
You're doing awesome. And for the final step, we're going to try it in the middle of the room. We say in the middle, but when I learned it, I tried to keep a wall not too far from me. So just in case, as insurance. But eventually you'll get your bearings in there, and you'll be able to do it anywhere, including doing some Instagrams on the street, which are a lot of fun. Anyways, so we're going to do the same thing we were doing. Come into position. Now this time you don't have the wall, so you need to make sure that you're engaging the abdominals, which is the center of the body, and think center. Where is the center axis of my body? Usually you can come to the middle first with bent knees, and then straighten the legs. The headstand is a dance with the center of the body. You're here, you're breathing,
slow and easy. And you're always finding your center. This is where the rejuvenation happens, so that is wonderful. Have an inner smile when you're here, because you're doing an awesome practice. And once you can do this and be solid in it, you can start engaging the quadriceps and the abdominals and lowering the legs. In practice, we go all the way to 90 degrees and breathe there a couple of times and then come back up. That is the training to get the legs to go back up and back down. And that is how you do a headstand. Please remember to take your time and go slow, because slow pays off in the long run. If you want to know what I'm using here, what mat I'm using, I have one that is very cushy for this. I'm going to put it in the description, as well as the towel mat that I use on the sitting cushion that I'm using, in case you want to know about it. The wall is not linked. I'm sure you have one of your own already. If you have any friends that speak Spanish and they want to learn it, hola, there's another video that I'm going to link here so you can show it to them. And I have a lot of other classes here on the channel. A popular one lately has been the restorative class, one where you can calm down maybe at the end of the day and rest. I hope you enjoyed. Hit subscribe and the little bell next to it so I can notify you when there are new videos. Thank you for coming. The light in me says hello to the light in you.